So certainly the big news in this season is our world premiere opera, an opera in jazz. It's called Champion by 5-time Grammy Award-winning composer Terence Blanchard and Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Michael Christopher. We're thrilled that this is a co-commission together with Jazz St. Louis. So the cast for this world premiere is part of what makes it so exciting. First of all, we have one of the great mezzo-sopranos of our time making her opera theater debut. This is Denise Graves. She plays the role of Imelda, the mother of young Emil. You know, as a star, Denise almost defies description. USA Today called her an operatic superstar of the 21st century. She's sung for presidents at every major opera house around the world, from the Met to the Deutsche Oper Berlin, to the Vienna Staatsoper, to the Paris National Opera, and now Opera Theater of St. Louis. Emil Griffith was welterweight champion of the world, and in 1962, on live television, he was trying to win back the title from Benny the Kid Paret. And tragically, he killed his opponent. He killed Benny, not by doing anything wrong, but by doing his job. Part of what makes it so interesting is that the weigh-in of the fight, his opponent, Benny, had been mocking Emil, calling him a derogatory slur for gay. Years later, Emil Griffith was nearly killed himself by a gang of thugs outside a gay bar in New York City. And that's how the world came to know that what he'd been mocked for at that weigh-in was a secret he'd been keeping, a terribly dangerous secret, something people couldn't even imagine at the time. Part of what is so beautiful about the way this story is told is the use of sort of the boxing metaphor. This is an opera in 10 rounds. So when it begins, we meet Emil as an older man, and he is struggling with the early stages of dementia. He's getting dressed, and he's very anxious. He's fading in and out of memory, and then suddenly a bell rings, and we flash back to the world of young Emil. And that's how the opera keeps moving along. We see a scene from his life, and a bell rings, and we change to another time and place. It builds into a very dramatic and powerful conclusion. So even though this is a tragic story, in a way about violence, it ultimately becomes a story about compassion, because this is true when Emil was reaching this stage of his life where dementia was starting to take over. He had a chance to meet Benny Jr., the son of his opponent, who had been 2 years old at the time of the match. And in an act of great compassion and humanity, Benny Jr. forgives Emil, forgives him for killing his father. And that was captured in a documentary film. It's incredibly moving, and it's an incredibly moving finale to this story.
The main thing, though, is to really appreciate a person, you know, who was a reluctant champion. That's the thing that fascinates me the most, is that this guy, he really didn't want to box, but it was a means to an end. When you look at a person who had to overcome so much, you know, adversity in his life, you know, just the struggle to survive initially, that's a feat in itself. But to attain the level of success that he did in terms of becoming a heavyweight champion, and to overcome some of the stigmas he was holding inside.
And the idea for doing this story at all was that of Terence Blanchard. And he is one of the great voices in contemporary American music, best known probably for his film scores. He's written almost all the film scores to Spike Lee's movies, including a score for Spike Lee's documentary about Hurricane Katrina. The score is called A Tale of God's Will. It's been performed by symphony orchestras around the country. It's hauntingly beautiful. Terence brought us this idea to tell the story of Emil Griffith. And we thought, well, that is an American story, a story that is best told through this combination, this uniquely American combination of the ideas of opera and jazz. Michael Christopher is a great dramatic mind. In addition to what he's written for the stage, he's also written films as iconic as The Bonfire of the Vanities and The Witches of Eastwick. As an actor, he's appeared on Broadway, film, even the television series on NBC, Smash, where he plays Angelica Houston's ex-husband. Arthur Woodley plays the older Emil, and his history with opera theater dates back to Billy Budd and beyond. It's been nearly a decade since we've had him here, and so we're thrilled to be welcoming him back. And then in the role of young Emil, we have Aubrey Alacock, who is absolutely one of the stars on the rise at opera theater. He has been a standout for audiences and critics alike.
So I think that's going to be one of those not to miss pieces, because what it's really doing is it's expanding the boundaries of what opera is.
To think about a person who's that accomplished, who still feels like he can't truly be himself, is a tragedy in my mind.
This is a story of humanity and heartbreak and courage, and I really look forward to sharing it with this audience when it opens on June 15th.